Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. This is Nepun here. It's been some time since I've made a video. I really wanted to make a video right after I had come back to UK and I had posted all those travel videos, which was more of a Q&A session. So this video is more about a Q&A. I had tons of questions coming in, so I wanted to answer those in this video so that people don't have to repeat those questions again, but still have answers to all those. Sorry for the delay. I couldn't do it because I was caught up with work. So I've written down most of the questions that have come in. Most of them were repetitive questions, so I thought I will have them noted down and start answering them one after the other. So the biggest question that people had was, which airline did I fly in and what's the hotel that I was staying in. I had traveled in Air Vistara. So it was from Chennai to Delhi and from Delhi to London Heathrow. That's how I had traveled. And the hotel that I stayed in, the hotel quarantine that I stayed in was Holiday Inn at Heathrow itself, which is M4 JCT4. So I stayed in Holiday Inn at M4 JCT4. So this was a very frequent question that I was being asked. So I thought I should let them know. Were there cancellation of flights? Yes, there was cancellation of flights. It was cancelled twice, to be honest. So I was supposed to fly in on the 19th. Unfortunately, the one that I had picked in was the 24th, wherein the lockdown started, or the hotel quarantine started from 23rd. So yes. So jumping back to the next set of questions. So I had already explained about the three things that you basically need, which is the PCR test, the hotel quarantine booking confirmation or the invoice number, and the third thing was the passenger locator form. So I'll try to break in on these three in the sense like most of the questions were based on these, so I'm going to break into those. But before even that, who can travel? That was a very vast majority of the question. Who can travel? Anybody with Tier 2 visa, Tier 1 visa, be it general or the ICT for Tier 2, anybody with a student visa or anybody with a dependent visa can travel. So anybody who has a leave to remain, anybody with a fiancé visa, anybody with a settlement visa, anybody with an ancestral visa can still travel. Which means basically people who are making movies and people who are visiting here just as a visitor cannot travel. So that's the whole thing. So the rest of the crew can still travel from India or for the rest of the world into UK. Is it safe to travel? Yes, it is absolutely safe to travel. Please do note that when I had traveled in, from the time I had got out of the out of the flight until I check in, it was give or take around 4 hours. Off late recently, I understood that the time is taking even further, so it is like give or take around 7 hours. So please be prepared. Please do have some snacks right after you get down from the flight. If there are any toiletry necessaries that you want to do, please finish them off. Don't hold them until the end, because it can be delayed, and as you travel there's no facilities, or as you start getting into the line for your immigration, for your baggage collection, all that is more routed in, so you won't have that facility. So please ensure that you get yourself comfortable before you start your immigration process and the rest of the stuff. So that's about who can travel. I guess I have covered everything. Many people wanted to know if they only had the vignette and not the BRP card, can they still travel? Yes, they can still travel, as long as they are the ones that I have said, whether they're leave to remain, settlement, or Tier 2, Tier 1 sort of visas, they can still travel. Now getting back into again the bunch of questions. So PCR test. Do we need a QR code for the PCR test? No, that's not needed. The time for test, in the test, so 72 hours before your flight leaves or starts from the destination country. So that's the time. From India, basically, is it an ICMR approved? Yes, it has to be an ICMR approved. Many people wanted to know if soft copies are allowed. Soft copies are allowed. I did have mentioned in the comment that soft copies are not allowed. Soft copies are allowed, but then they prefer hard copies. So if you can get a hard copy, that will be the best thing to do. The other thing that people wanted to understand was, is it PCR that is mandatory, or can they have some antigen test, where they can go ahead and have an antigen test. just that there are certain rules on specificity and your there are certain rules on the accuracy of the test. So if your antigen meets that standard, then absolutely yes. If not, don't go for an antigen. Uh, the latest test that had come in India has that specificity, but the rest of the antigen test does not, and that's why people by default go for a PCR test. So I would still prefer people to take the PCR test rather than the antigen because you're safe throughout. So don't go by the antigen stuff. Go by the PCR test, which is better. And does this PCR test needs to be updated into any location or form or place? No, that's not necessary. You don't have to do that. So these were most of the tests that had come for the PCR test. Now moving on, the next is the hotel quarantine. Quite a huge list, to be honest. So starting with the hotel quarantine, when is the best time to book for hotel quarantine? Guys, my personal experience is that until your flight ticket is confirmed and your COVID test is negative, only then book for a hotel quarantine, because the ones that I did before, I had some issues to cancel, and so I had a bit of a struggle there. As I said before, I had the tickets cancelled twice and then had to rebook. So, I had some issues there. So that's why I personally suggest that once your tickets are confirmed, once your COVID test is negative, once you're rest assured that you are flying, go ahead and book your hotel quarantine. The maximum time that it takes is give or take around 30 minutes. It just hardly took me 15 minutes, to be honest. So, but give or take, based on your internet speed and other factors, including maybe an hour. So that's the best time to book the hotel quarantine. Now remember, there's going to be two emails coming for the hotel quarantine. The first one is the confirmation that you had done a booking. The second one is the invoice number that they sent. That invoice number is what is needed to be printed on your ticket. When the boarding pass is done, they would print that on your ticket, and that's the invoice number that you would give on your PLF, which is the passenger locator form. So remember, two emails. Now also remember that your first email will have the address of the hotel that you're staying in and the name of the hotel. The second one does not have that. Please do remember, it's the first one that has that detail. So ensure that you get that information beforehand, because once you're here in the immigration, right after the immigration, they will ask for the hotel and the address. So please be sure that you take that details. Now, can you choose hotels? This was another very frequent question that I'd been getting. Can you choose hotels, or is it the CTM that does that automatically? Sorry guys, it's the CTM that does the booking for us. You go through that online portal, they do the booking for you. You don't get to choose the hotel. So I again repeat, you don't get to choose the hotel. CTM does that for you. Now, the other question that was there was, is the food and test included in the hotel quarantine package? Yes. The food and the two tests that we are talking about, the two PCR tests that you're supposed to take, are included as part of your hotel quarantine package, which costs £1,750 per person. Not per person, I'll come back to that again. So please do remember that the test and the food are part of the package. Yeah, and again, multiple people had booked them separately. The PCR test, they had booked them separately. No, you don't have to do that. That's another additional £200. You don't have to do that. Do not book for an additional PCR test. That's not needed. It's all part of your hotel quarantine package. Again, coming back to the cost, it is £1,750 per person. But if it's a family, then £1,750 per person, £650 for an additional person, and if you have kids between the age of 5 and 11, it is £325. If the kids are less than 5, it's absolutely free of cost. Now do remember that the PCR test is only for people above 11 years. So kids below 11 do not have to test. Anyways, that's another question that was there, but just giving it beforehand. So kids don't get to test them below the age of 11, so they don't have to do it. Can people stay together? If you are on the same ticket, in the sense like if your booking reference number is the same, yes, you can stay together. There were also questions as to how many person can stay in a hotel. Depending on the hotel, the place that I was staying in, 4 people could stay easily in a room. If it was a larger family, then they would give you connecting rooms. I also heard that when people trying for connecting rooms, they did have issues. So I would say, suggest don't do that. But the downside is, if you're a huge family, say for 8 member team, and if you're given 2 different rooms, you are not allowed to mingle. So even though you're from the same family, who had flown in from the same flight, all that is there, you can't get to mingle as long as it is 2 different rooms. So if it's an interconnecting room, then that's a different case. But if it's not, then you can't even mingle. So that's the downside of taking a non-connecting room. uh, uh, can What kind of credit card or debit card can be used? All international credit cards and all international debit cards, any UK cards, you can still go ahead and book them. Uh, why I said international card is because I did have people who had struggled getting a booking done through their Indian credit card. So as long as it is an Indian credit card that can be used abroad, you can still go ahead and book them. If not, go ahead and talk to your bank, get that fixed so that you can go ahead and get this hotel booking done. Sorry. So again, the question was, are 4 people allowed? I have already answered that. Uh, then the other most frequent questions was, on the hotel quarantine. The 2 different questions that I got on hotel related was, can you go out for a smoke or can you go out for a walk? Yes, you can. You can go out for a smoke. You can go out for a walk. All you need to do is, there are a lot of supporting staffs, to be honest, and they've been very helpful. So you just got to call them up and say that, hey, I wanted to go for a smoke. I wanted to go out of the building. They have allocated areas which are again restricted, so you can't mingle and mix and match and all that. But then you can still go out, take a breath of fresh air. You can go out and smoke. You can go out for a jog. You can go out for some exercise or some activity if you want to. Especially families traveling with little kids, you can definitely go out. It's not that you have to sit in the room. That's not the case. So yes, you can take breaks, and yes, you can go out for a smoke. The other frequent question was about food. So can food be delivered from outside? Can family members deliver food from outside? Can Deliveroo and Uber Eats deliver food from outside? Yes, you can get your food delivered. So the concept is, the food comes in to the hotel, they drop it at the reception, and one of those supporting staffs who basically help you out with all your needs, they are the ones who would come and drop that food in front of your room. So every day they would drop the food in the front of your door, and they knock and they walk out. They don't stay there for you to come and greet, or for them, for you to come and pick the food. They drop it at the doorstep and they walk out. They do knock and they walk out, so letting you know that the food is there. So it's the same procedure. If your family member is dropping food for you guys, they would have to drop it in the reception. The reception area is open for everybody. Anybody can come in and anybody can go. It's not restricted, so they can go ahead and drop it there. One of these supporting staffs would come and drop the food, or whatever that is, food or your amenities or whatever that is. They will come and drop it in your room, in front of your room. So how many clothes were allowed for laundry? It was only 7, and any number beyond 7, of course, was chargeable, which was not that great. But then I could manage. But if you have kids and all that, it becomes a struggle. But yeah, it is what it is. Was Can visitors come and see? No, no visitors allowed. Visitors are not allowed. Remember that. Even if you have a visitor coming in and standing at far, you may not still be able to see them, because at least the place that I was staying in, the public area was in front and we were all behind. So even the open area that was allowed was again the parking lot, which was behind. So we didn't even have a chance to meet or greet people from our family side in the hotel, even seeing at a distance. So that's how it was. The internet. the internet was pretty decent for me. I was attending. I mean, I was of course working, and all my work was done through the internet. So basically, I have a regular job, so I was doing it, and especially I'm an IT guy. So of course, you know how that is. I was attending meetings in that. I only opted for the free internet. I did not opt for any special ones. They had three special ones, saying one for meeting and one for even crazier stuff. I just went with the free package. The only downside is I had to log in every single day into the Holiday Inn to log in, but that's the only downside that I had. But that was still okay for me. But I just went with the free internet, and the whole quarantine period was used with that. Beers allowed? Yes, beers are allowed. Only thing is, you will have to give your card when you check in, and they charge that extra. So beers are allowed. It's not that it's not allowed. Even hot drinks are allowed, or for that matter, whatever is available out there. That's all accepted, but with an additional cost. So food. Whoa, food is a topic by itself. So you would have already seen my earlier video. If not, please do go ahead and check that video out when I've shown a couple of days food that I've got. So anybody who is vegetarian, they're going to be finding it very tough. Anybody who's a chickatarian, when I say chickatarian, anybody who eats only chicken but not the other meat items, they are going to find it a little easier, but then it's still going to be tough. It's not going to be that easy. And of course, there's halal food, so no pork is still there. But yeah, if you're someone who does not eat beef or pork, it's going to be a little troublesome, or a little tough. But yeah, so that's how it was. The food that I had was I wouldn't say extremely great and extremely good. I ate everything. I didn't have a problem, but I do know that people had concerns. It was not the best of its taste, but then it was not very bad. It was not like shit that I had to throw it into the dump. No, that was not the case. The food was fairly decent. Let me put that. The other question, and that should have been my first answer. So the way the hotel quarantine works. Uh, so people kind of get confused with the 10-day concept. So please do understand that the first day that you land in the hotel, that's considered as day 0. And then you have day 1, day 2, day 3, up to day 10, which means it is 11 days. And then you have the 12th day, wherein it's the day where you check out. So it's totally 12 days and 11 nights. So please do understand, when they keep telling you it's 10 days and 11 nights, it is technically 11 days and 11 nights. It's just that your day 0 is also counted into it, and it is 12 days that you're going to be in quarantine. When you step out of the hotel, it's going to be 12 days. So this is about hotel quarantine. So the next one that people wanted to know was about the COVID tests that came in along with the package. So is that part of the package? Yes, it is part of the package. No test for kids below 11. That was the other question that was there, so just wanted to answer that. You don't have to book that separately. I've already told that before. It is part of the package. You don't have to book that separately. Yes, it is one swab for both your throat and your nose. So first you play with your throat, and then with your nose, drop it into the vial, and then you pack it. There's instructions. If you still don't understand the instructions, please do watch my other video that I have put on how to do not how to do the test. Basically, the package coming in, getting the package opened, and repackaging it and dropping it for the post people to take it. So the way you have to do it is they'll drop it in front of the door of your hotel. You pick it up, do the necessary stuff, book your test through the portal, and then drop the box in front of the door. One of those teams that is helping out will come and pick that up. They would go ahead and deliver it, and you would have the test results the next day, give or take by mid-afternoon. So depends on the time that you have sent the results. But yeah. So day 2 and day 8 that they do the test. So if you turn out to be positive on day 2, you don't get to test on day 8. But please do remember, if you turn out to be positive on day 2, your stay is going to be extended by another 2 days. So same is the case with day 8. You got to stay extra if your day 8 test turns positive. So that's the only risky factor there. But hopefully, if you're hopefully you shouldn't, as long as you're having all the preventions put in place. First time travelers, yes, you wouldn't have your NHS ID. Don't worry about it. They will send you that NHS ID or via text. So people had this question whether really, like, via text. I mean, when you send that result and when you put that in the portal, how do they send it? Do they send it through text? Do they send it through email? Do they call you up? You have options to do that, so choose the best options. For me, I had email and I had the text message coming in, so that's how I had done that. And was I vaccinated? No, I was not vaccinated. The rules are going to change. That's once I have that information, I will put that as another video. But then, as of today, you don't have to get vaccinated to come in or out. So that's how it works. I was not vaccinated. So this is more about the hotel quarantine and the COVID test that comes along with that. And moving on to the final stuff, it is the passenger locator form. Most of the questions were, where is the address of the hotel, where's the name of the hotel. So like I said, for the passenger locator form, those details of your hotel quarantine, which is your hotel name and your hotel address, comes in on the first email that would have come to you, and the second email is the invoice number. The return date. So there was another question as to what is the return date. It's just a question because you're on a visa. They wanted to understand, or if you're on a BRP card, they wanted to know if there is a return date that you have planned. And the main reason for that is if it is within the next 10 days, how are you going to plan for that travel? So that's the whole thing. I just simply given a 6-month time. I wasn't even thinking about what it was, but yes, so it was 6 months time that I gave. The other frequent question was, when will India get to an amber list? Well, sorry friends, I don't have any idea when they're going to be moved into amber list. I too wish that it is moved into amber list, because I got to travel pretty soon back to India and then again travel back. So I wish before that it is moved into the amber list, so that I can come back home and stay in home quarantine rather than doing this, because it is pretty expensive. I burnt my pocket pretty deep. So these were all the set of questions that I had. I've tried to answer most of the questions that I knew. If you still have questions, do please comment them below, and I would try to reply back. I believe I've done justice by replying back to most of the questions asked. Some of the questions were tricky, which I didn't have an answer right away. I did answer them in a day or two. So if you didn't see or get a reply within a day, please hold on, because I'm just still trying to figure out something, or something that I'm not aware of. But otherwise, I've tried my best to answer to most of the questions. Give or take, I had around 500 plus questions or 600 plus questions coming in on the first set of videos. So that's more of what I have. I believe this was useful. So if you like it, please do hit the like button once, so that I know that I should go ahead and make more videos like these. And if you want me to change something, please do mention that in the comment. So that's just it. So I believe you like the video. Please do subscribe. Thanks guys. Bye.